This is Ferrisburg Farms. We're located in north central Arkansas, just east of Greenbrier. We have a beef operation. We sell not only bulls, but we also produce animals for the meat processors. And we sell our calves in Oklahoma City and other places. And then we have farm-raised beef. We raise beef to sell straight to the consumer with local processor. So it goes straight from this farm, from this field, to the processor, to somebody's plate. We have a Charolais cattle base. At one point this year, we had about 800 cows. The majority of our animals are Charolais, but we do have crossbred cows because the crosses grow a little faster and the buyers look for a little different look, and they produce fast-growing calves that market well. Here we use rotational grazing, and there's basically several different ways that you can feed your animals. You can just put them out in a pasture, a big open pasture, and let them graze how they want to graze. If you rotationally graze them, that's another method. You move them every day to a new portion of your pasture, new portion, new portion. They concentrate their waste, so you're getting free fertilizer. This is a field of wheat. It's rotational because they rotate every day. And this was 2 days ago. You can see where the fence was the day before, today, tomorrow, and then they'll rotate into this field and eat over there. Rotational, they have to have water. There's a water source down here that you can't see. There's a water source right here, and the fence is built so it'll service multiple fields. We concentrate them in a small area, give them a small portion, and continually move that portion. And I continually disc the ground behind them, so when they move out of this field into a new field, this field can be planted for the next crop. We plant Sudan grass. It'll grow about 8 feet tall. When it's young, it has lots of protein. As it matures and gets taller, it has more sugar, which is more energy. When they move out of this field, it'll be planted with turnips and wheat, and that's our winter crop. And they'll eat the turnips in late winter, and in the spring, the wheat will grow, and that'll be their early spring crop. This morning, I just moved them into today's portion of feeding. The field size varies. Because I move them every day, I can monitor what they look like. I can monitor how much they're eating. Are they leaving too much? Are they eating all of it and not leaving anything? Is their body composition going down? And I vary the size of the field based on the way the cow looks and the way the ground looks. Our end goal, like I said, is to get good beef to a commercial buyer or to a local buyer. And we want to feed them as much naturally as we can. That helps keep our costs down. And we've built our herd based on genetics. We built it based on the mother, what she brings to the table, and our bulls. And we have some of the best genetics out there. And we want good quality beef. We use rotational grazing because it concentrates the animal. We get essentially free fertilizer, and we drive the cost per cow day down. You concentrate them, they eat what you want them to eat, and you can control the cost that way, and you can keep the cost per cow day low. That way you can maximize your profitability. This is 68 cents a day. That's with the tractors going over the field, preparing the field. That's the seed, fertilizer, and unfortunately we had an infestation of army worms that I sprayed for, so that's an additional cost. That bumps it on up. The field next door, it didn't have any fertilizer, but we had some from the previous crop, so the cost per day on that field would be much lower than this field. The purpose of the rotational grazing is you concentrate them and you move them and you allow your pasture to grow back. And you keep moving them, your pasture grows back, you can keep rotating them depending on how many fields you have. The thing that makes this less desirable is you have to build and build and build, pull up. See, there's no fence over here. Of course, they can't get back to it because of this fence, but I'll have to go back over here and build the fence. But we have a perimeter fence, and then we have internally, it's an electric fence. It's a rope wire that I get from a local distributor, and it's a charger that we also get from a local distributor. The way I roll them up is I use hose reels and I stretch the fence, and I have fence posts that I use to keep it off the ground and secure it, and then put the charger on and make sure that it's hot. They have to know that it's hot. Runs about 9,300 volts when it's hot, and you teach them young that it's hot, and even if your battery goes dead or it gets knocked loose, they will not cross it if they've been taught that it's hot. And it's hot. How do I know? Several different ways. Sometimes I think it's turned off and I grab hold of it. My sons and I were building a fence, and one of them took off with a roll. He was rolling it by hand, and I reached down with the fence post driver and knocked it into the hot fence, and it shocked him. Shocked me too, but it was pretty funny that we both got a little jolt. The other two boys thought it was funny as well because they didn't get shocked. Kids do a lot of algebra. They know how many square feet are in an acre. They know how many feet that they got to walk off, and I'll send my sons out here and they'll build what I need them to build, and they'll build it the size we need to build it. Lots of algebra. They're not necessarily big fans of that, but that's real world stuff.